that. I saw an article in 1998 about it. I said 2008. But there it is, 2008. Okay, so he got arrested. Don't worry. Dog, that was Florida. Police say Rogers yelled, put it back up, an obscenity statement in the window as he walked past a patrol vehicle that contained a patrol dog, causing the dog's behavior to become overloaded, tormenting the dog, the affidavit says. And I don't know in that case if it barked at him. But anyway, side issue. So it goes on. The hospital issued a statement saying we have initiated an investigation to compare our standards to the community and regional hospitals. And if necessary, we will advise our reference lab to require their standards for consistency. And it goes on to say, opium comes from the poppy plant. Ingesting poppy seeds can cause levels of morphine and codeine in a person's urine. Well, a lot of times they give women morphine when they're having a painful birth. I guess they take your child for that, too. On that day, Liz gave birth. She ate a everything bagel from Dunkin' Donuts, a bagel with lots of poppy seeds. Now the local ACLU is taking on the case. The hospital issued a statement basically saying we have initiated an investigation to compare our standards to the community and regional hospitals. And if necessary, we'll advise our reference lab to critique their standards. I understand that what they're doing is to protect children, but they should have investigated more. Like I have to drive by that place every day when I go to work, and I just cry every time. So far, no lawsuit's been filed. It isn't clear if they even gave her child back. But side issue, I just wanted to let you know about that. So when a police dog jumps out of a car and runs at you, you need to get on the ground and just show your throat and say, kill me. Because that officer is worth more than you and your whole family. And I've seen all these other police cases where, I've seen the video on the news, where the police dog attacks some guy at a roadside checkpoint. The dog's attacking them, blood's coming out their arm or leg. They punch the dog, assault on an officer. They charge you with assault on a god because their dog is better than you, and you're going to let it attack you. Do you understand? But don't worry, cops that are into all this, your bosses don't just let you assault us. They assault you through your drinking water every day, through your GMO food, through your mercury-filled shots. So go ahead. Don't listen to me, laugh at me, shoot your kids up. You like having somebody with a low IQ as a child. You love the system. You worship at its altar. Everything you do is about your petty power trip, so worship your gods. Now, I know a lot of cops are waking up, and that's good. Shanky in Georgia. You're on the air, Shanky.
Hey, Alex. Thanks for having me on. Congratulations on the money bomb and on all your success. I really appreciate it.
Well, that's going to let us go to the next level, and God bless everybody that donated. It's wonderful. It's caused a lot of hating and jealousy by other people, but talk show hosting people, but that's just what they do. They don't understand. This is the platform waking everybody up to send them to their websites and radio shows. But go ahead.
I think it's great. I want to promote Prison Planet as well. It's a great resource and lots of wonderful videos and stuff you put over there.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Shanky.
The global debt, you mentioned debt earlier, and I'm just thinking along the lines of just total global default is what it's going to take. You mentioned the debt levels, and you talk about a country.
Yeah, we don't owe this money, and that's what Ron Paul said last week. Default on the banker debt. The bankers used it for themselves. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, they've robbed the middle class. They've basically taken all our money and pumped up the elite and kept them afloat while they're going to let everybody else starve.
Well, more than kept them afloat, I've got the headline here, stocks down, but bank stocks up. So they're not just keeping afloat. They're doing really good right now.
Well, I mean, you talk about stocks, and I'm deep into the stock market and follow it every day, and it is just more frustrating to see the manipulation. You talked a minute ago about what do you sit up at night and worry about, and what makes you, and my focus, other than really everything, my children. You mentioned your children, and it's just to see the blatant manipulation, the blatant purchasing of the stock market and keeping it afloat, and the illusion that all is well, to keep it alive, to keep the pensions alive, to keep it's absolutely disgusting to see it happening.
It is, and it's so obviously unbelievably criminal. I mean, criminal isn't even the word for it. It's just open total fraud, out in the open. It even came out in Congress that Goldman Sachs and others premeditated this. It's happening globally. The same 6 banks are doing it in concert, and it's either us or them. And we've got to default on this debt. People are like, well, that'll devalue the dollar. They're already devaluing it. They're already planning to, in the name of propping it up, transfer all the rest of the wealth to themselves that's left and then default it on top of it. I mean, we've got to default on it now.
Got to get it now to what we've been talking about, or they've been talking about, is the false flag. What is going to be the catalyst that finally rips it from everybody's control? I mean, I think this charade can go on as long as the Fed can print money, as long as nobody's there to stop them, as long as we have nobody in power to stop this charade.
And if we get too uppity, they'll blow something up and blame it on the American people. That's why we've got to keep exposing inside job terror to take that trick away from them.
Just like Building 7. I mean, that's the, to me, that's the one positive proof about 9/11, not the Pentagon. But there's going to be some catalyst, I believe, that's going to finally rip the stock markets from their control and finally rip all this crap that they're doing. And allow us our opening to come in.
Shanky, good point. I got to jump, but that catalyst has already begun. Over 80% of Americans in major polls know the Federal Reserve's private. They want to audit it. They want to shut it down. As Zbigniew Brzezinski said, humankind is awake and staring at the elite. They are uncloaked now. That's the beginning of the end. More calls straight ahead.
We all know that Berkey water purification systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 5 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $209, and the Berkey Guy will include 3 Sport Berkey water bottles and ship everything to you free of charge. That's right, 3 Sport Berkey water bottles and free shipping. An $87 value, yours free. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
They helped to create a new world order.
We are part of a new world order.
A new world order based upon collective action.
Invisible Empire is a damning indictment of the globalists through their own words and documents.
The new world order really is a tool for addressing a new world of possibilities.
It means all the world under their control.
The United Nations would take over America. The Trilateral Commission would control the world.
Invisible Empire chronicles how men of power and influence have worked in stealth for centuries to establish an oppressive world government.
I believe, first of all, that we now need nothing short of a world constitution for the global financial system.
Global governance with the establishment of the G20.
So it's going to be an inner ruling elite and then everyone else. And I got news for you. You're everyone else.
Invisible Empire. Secure your copy today at Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com, or watch it online in the highest quality at PrisonPlanet.tv.
Are the threats of a biological attack to the U.S. real?
If biological warfare is real, what should I know before it happens to protect my family?
The answers to the unthinkable are inside a new book by Christian patriot and author Sam Adams, Pale Horse, How to Survive a Chemical or Biological Attack. Inside what's been called the must-have manual for surviving the attack and mass panic that will follow, you will learn what the actual biological and chemical threats are, how to respond to events that are almost certain to happen, what the government's response is likely to be, how some will take advantage of the chaos, and exactly how you should prepare. To get Pale Horse, How to Survive a Chemical or Biological Attack in hard copy or immediate digital download, go to biowarsurvival.com or call 877-327-0365. That's 1-877-327-0365. Or buy online at biowarsurvival.com. That's BIOWAR survival.com.
This is not your father's BioWar Survival Handbook.
We are back live, going straight to your calls. Jim in Texas, thanks for holding her on the air.
Hey, Alex, how you doing?
Pretty good, sir.
Well, like usual, I have to agree with everything you say. these people aren't ignorant. Economics 101, I was taught back in the 80s that trickle-down economic theory is the antithesis, or globalization is the antithesis to trickle-down economic theory. So these people know what they're doing, and they know that nothing's going to get better until we go back to being a sovereign nation, printing our own money.
Oh, they say they want a post-industrial world.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. Every day I listen to your show, and every day I'm reminded of Brave New World and Brave New World Revisited, where Huxley, who was an insider and knew these things, said that and only the abnormally normal would be able to adapt to the society they were going to create. The rest of us would turn into John the Savages and either kill ourselves or be killed by the system. And, every day I feel more and more like John the Savage watching all this stuff happen. And, man, I really appreciate what you do, and I don't really know what the answer is except revolution. I agree with what Max Kaiser said yesterday. I cannot believe the people in the United States are so weak-willed and have turned into what they've turned into. When you look at France, there's millions of people in the street today shutting down the society, burning down the institutions. And, what has happened to America? How have you people allowed yourself to be so chemically and media lobotomized? I don't understand it.
Well,
I don't understand it, Alex.
Look, I'm not criticizing the French, but at the same time, we are seeing a big awakening. We are seeing court victories. We are seeing a lot of the states move towards sovereignty and 10th Amendment. And whereas people should be in the streets, the issue is the violence allows the system to bring in more controls. And so if you actually read the IMF World Bank documents from 2002, they talk about how they do this in third world countries. They create an atmosphere that creates social unrest, then they use that as a pretext to come in with more control. So it's a very delicate balance here. And we see the system trying to demonize yours truly, claiming I'm calling for violence when I'm calling for the opposite. I mean, George Soros publications attack yours truly every day now, saying I'm calling for violence. Basically, I should be arrested. And so, again, they create the climate where a lot of people reasonably, start wanting to go in that direction, but it's a setup down the road. I am never for offensive violence, but I am for getting in politicians' faces and going to every meeting and demonstrations and exposing the cops when they come out and try to hire provocateurs. I am for exercising our rights. I am for calling for criminal investigations and grand jury indictments of Federal Reserve board members, as Ron Paul has called for. But the pen is mightier than the sword. 90% of war is now info war. Pentagon says that themselves. And I remember reading that, 15 years ago when I was looking around for a name for a website. Infowars.com was available. And I went and registered it, 1996, started in 1997. Took me almost a year to get a webmaster and figure it all out, because it was just myself and my girlfriend and Mike Hansen working on the operation at that time. Just the three of us. Now my wife. Look, we won't beat them overnight. But here's the key. People are ready for the truth now. This stuff's all out in the open. So a lot of you beat your head against the wall for decades trying to wake folks up and got laughed at. You're not going to get as much of that now. And the beating your head against the wall, the seeds you planted a decade ago, those are now sprouting today. So seeds you plant today will sprout in a year, not in 10 years. Some will sprout overnight, some will sprout a year later. But you just got to keep planting the seeds of truth, because as Victor Hugo, the French philosopher, said, no army can stop an idea whose time has come. Anything else?
Well, I found Eric Holder coming on TV last night and announcing that the federal government would come in and intervene if California legalized marijuana. Was very interesting when he was just on TV 18 months ago saying how they were going to support the state's rights to make and enforce the drug laws the way they saw fit. So,
yeah, that's because they thought they could beat it, but because they failed, they're coming in. Great point. Yeah, I mean, the federal government has no business regulating in-state commerce. We'll be right back.
You are listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As they're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
I have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us
as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty, and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, they're arsonists. They're asking for more matches. And the Congress is saying, who do we make the check out to?
Today, seems like nobody does.